I am on the phone here with Bruce Buffer, the voice of the UFC, Octagon, and mixed martial arts. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on the show. I have a question. This question's on everyone's mind right now. What's your take on what happened in the Conor McGregor fight this past weekend?
Well, everybody's seen the videos, read the newspapers, TMZ, wherever you're going to get your news, and basically it laid it out. But from what I could tell, when the fight was over, when Khabib, decisively beat Conor McGregor last Saturday night, before I could even get in the Octagon to make the announcement, and we were ready to, get everything set like we normally do, Khabib had noticed in the corner, Danis, the man on Conor McGregor's training team, obviously what I understand said something to him. And I've heard different reports about what's been said, but whatever was said, I think it flipped a switch in Khabib that sent him over the edge where he couldn't come back, which sent him over the Octagon. You all saw what happened. The other fighters jumping in the Octagon, punching Conor from behind the head, in front. Total chaos has, consumed the issue. And it was basically a horrific way to end what was an amazingly perfect night. Great fights all the way through, culminating into this horrific event, which I do not condone. I do not, I basically understand what happened, but that doesn't mean I condone what happened. And now the powers that be will deal with what happened. But it was a much surprise to all of us. None of us in our righteous mind at all expected that to take place. I mean, Khabib has been the coolest cat, respectful all the way through. And the best way I can say is that basically his switch flipped. He couldn't switch it back.
Yeah.
After months of, all that was going on that we all are aware of if you're a UFC fan and you followed it.
Of course. Yeah. My concern is the state of martial arts, the reaction from the community is in the view of martial arts. Because the background I come from, very, very traditional, been in it for almost 40 years now. And I've been talking with a lot of the local legends in the area here in Texas, and we're talking about where the birthplace of kickboxing is, right here in Texas, where all the ground rules were laid, all the fights that happened with the boxing commission, with Larry Castor really pushing to get kickboxing going here in Texas. And to see it this many years later, I'm scared it's turning in a bad direction. What do you think?
Well, I mean, as a traditional martial artist since I was 12, and, I've studied many different styles. And the thing I always learned in martial arts was respect, honor, and to be proud of what you're doing. I'm not saying that is not who Khabib Nurmagomedov is or Conor McGregor, but this is not the way that we want to see fantastic events, historic events like the UFC culminate into. I think this is a one-time situation that occurred, just like that horrific situation at Barclays Center in New York that Conor was behind. It occurred.
Yeah.
I think people are going to pay their penance for what took place. Khabib has gone public and said, from what I understand this morning, that his attitude is that the one or two fighters that were told they will never be able to fight in the UFC again, that threw punches at Conor or were involved in this melee, he's stated something to the effect that if they're not allowed back, then I won't come back. So everybody's saying what they're saying right now.
Yeah.
We got to wait till the smoke clears, see what happens, and the powers that be, which are the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and I don't know if the Attorney General of Nevada is going to step in for anything since no arrests were made. Again, I do not know. I'm just like you and everybody listening. I'm waiting to see what takes place.
Yeah.
But this is not something that I condone. It is not what I'm about as a proud martial artist and a lover of the UFC and a worker representing the UFC for almost 23 years now, come February. But do not relate this to the UFC. This is an incident like the incident in Barclays Center, New York, was instigated by one individual along with a group of individuals he brought with him.
Yeah.
This incident Saturday night was in no way premeditated. It had nothing to do with the UFC and their direction. This happened with one individual and the other individuals that jumped in. And luckily security and everybody handled it as best they could at that time. It's really all I can tell you right now about the situation because I'm waiting to see the outcome myself. But we do have to move on to the next event. We have a lot of great fights coming on. But no, this is not where martial arts is going. This is an instance involving two individuals amongst other individuals involved with those individuals that is outside of the brand and the marketing power and the powers that be at the UFC, such as Dana White and everybody involved, including myself.
Now, I understand that completely, and I try to look at it from the fighter's point of view, too. Being a former fighter, I kickboxed, I did Muay Thai, I did MMA in my, younger years, we'll say, and I know you're a kickboxer also. I remember going into a fight before I entered that ring and when I left it, I really didn't want to have a regular conversation with anybody at that time. You couldn't talk to me, especially after a fight. You couldn't talk to me for a little bit. I had to come down. In that moment, I think it's really easy, and I'm not trying to make excuses for this, but in that moment, I think it's really easy for something to hit you the wrong way and flip that switch, like you said. What do you think?
Well, yeah, it is. And, there's the momentary switch flips from something that just happens, somebody gets in your face or something takes place, your adrenaline's running, you're pumped up, you just fought, in this case, almost 15 minutes with one of the, two of the greatest warriors in our sport going at it. But that doesn't excuse it,
No, yes.
But in this case, this is a buildup of activity, a buildup of confrontations with Khabib to Conor to Khabib, words changing place, insults being thrown at Khabib's country, as he said, at his father, at his religion. There are certain things you do not attack, and you do not attack one's religion, or you do not attack their family, and you don't attack their country. This is called respect amongst warriors.
Yes.
And it's just like when they say at the dinner table, don't talk politics, don't talk religion. Well, in this case, it's kind of similar.
Yes.
Now, I'm not a religious individual. I'm a spiritual individual. But when I say God bless you, which I do a lot, I say that because whoever your God is and your choice of religion is, I hope they do bless you. And that's my respect to give to everybody out there. I would never, ever talk negative about someone's religion. I might talk negative about a religion based on some situations that happen.
Yes.
But I will not question nor insult somebody for their beliefs.
Yeah, you don't want to insult someone's choice of religion. Absolutely.
Of course, it's their choice. This is a freedom of a choice country in which we live. And everybody, I firmly believe, I have a John Wayne theory about life. I say it at the end of every one of my podcasts. Treat everybody around you with respect the way you want to be treated. It's that simple.
Absolutely, sir. I have to say, sir, I've known you for quite a few years. I remember the first time was probably 11, 12 years ago. We were at ringside here at the American Airlines Center for the Art of War. It was a Pedro Hizzo headlining fight. And
remember it well. That was a good event, too.
Yeah. And I remember in between the fights, we were talking poker. Do you still play poker?
Oh, yeah, weekly. I'm definitely, I'm throwing the cards out all the time. I don't bang around anymore and sparring heavily like I used to and fighting, occasionally. Let's face it, we all got to get older and deal with what we're doing. But, the bottom line is I love to compete. And my competitive attitude on the Greenfeld Battlefield of Champions comes out. If I can take you off, knock you out for all your chips, bring them over to my side of the thing, well, that's just like the same as standing across from you toe to toe and I put you down on the canvas. It's just similar. I need that competitive edge, and I get it from poker. Of course, I love winning money. We all lose at times too, of course.
Yes.
But I think poker, the aspects of mental similarities of poker to the way one leads life in business or even in sport are very similar. And it's a very competitive edge that I like to fulfill. And I have that need. I have that need to fulfill every day, whether I'm working or whether I'm playing poker or whether I'm training in one of the sports I love.
Awesome, sir. I have to thank you so much. The 3 times I've asked you to be on my before radio show and now my YouTube stream, you've never hesitated. You did this on such short notice. I have to thank you. But I want to make sure everybody knows you have this awesome website out there, and I want you to plug it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Steve. It's brucebuffer.com. Real easy to remember, of course, I hope. But one of the things I put on there for everybody out there, I have been asked to do special audio recordings and videos over the years, introducing people as champion fighters, introducing them at their weddings, the birth of babies, business type intros. But the fans are so great in the mixed martial arts community and the UFC fans out there that I wanted to get back to them a little bit. So I made it very inexpensive to introduce you, just like I was introducing you in the Octagon as a champion coming in. And I do that both on audio and I do it on video for the fans. And you can find all about it at brucebuffer.com. And I make it very reasonable compared to, you know, what I've received in the past, because I want to give back. And at the same time, partial proceeds from this go to charities that benefit military, children, and animals. And that's one of the things I do it for.
Oh, awesome. I will put a link to your website. And also, I will be, I saw this on your website, so I will be getting on that also, because I'd love you to do an introduction for me on my stream. So I will be talking to you about that.
I'd love to, Steve. We've known each other a long time, so you're going to get the special buffer rate, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's awesome. And I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you're busy. You have a great day and a great evening.
Thank you, Steve. Much respect, my friend, and all the best to you. Have a great day. And don't worry, onward and upward in martial arts and the UFC. We have a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.